What if I told you there is one stretch that you could do every day, spend about 5 minutes on it, and could reduce your chronic aches and pains by as much as 70%? What if I told you that this same stretch could prevent many of the falls that people as they age happen to have and improve your balance at the same time? Well, today I'm going to show you and teach you how to do this one stretch, and hopefully it'll change your life the way I've seen others. Welcome back to the Muscle Repair Shop. So what is this amazing stretch? Well, it's called a calf stretch. Now I know for most of you going, what? That can't be true. We all do calf stretches. But I'm here to tell you that most of the people, and I'm talking 98% of the people on this planet who think they are doing a calf stretch are really doing an Achilles tendon stretch. You see, when you do things like lean against the wall to stretch your calves, or you are dropping your heel off of a step, or you're standing on a slant board or something that is slanted thinking that you're stretching your calves, you are sorely mistaken. What you're stretching is your Achilles tendon. And let me go a little bit deeper and explain that. In your calves, you have 4 calf muscles. So the calves themselves control the movement of your ankle and your foot. The middle calves control the foot in a vertical fashion so that you can walk properly and use your feet for propulsion and not your quads. The inside-outside calf muscles, they control how your foot moves laterally, like in supination and pronation. And I know for most of you dealing with supination and pronation, you're thinking that, oh my gosh, but I put these things in my shoes. It's not your foot. Your foot is not uneven. It's the calf muscles that are pulling the foot from one side to the other that is causing that to happen. My question to you then is, if you put something in your shoe, you're just going to maintain where you are today. Wouldn't you like to fix it? And then finally, the most surprising one of them all from the calves is the fact of rotation. Many times when I work on golfers, and I'll see up to 150 a year, and tennis players and baseball players, they don't understand that the rotation of their hips begins down at their feet and their ankles, and the calves are a major driver of that. So when you're playing any sports where you've got to rotate your body, or you're just rotating in general, the rotation starts in your calves, the 4 calf muscles, comes up through the 3 hamstrings, and then it goes into the 5 rotating muscles in your hips, so that you can rotate your lower body with power without stressing your shoulders and stressing your lower back. So the calf, as you can see, is a highly important part of the human body. And so today what I want to do is really show you how to do a calf stretch correctly, and then we can go forward so you can stop wasting your time and really open up your calves and getting to move it. Now, a side benefit from having the calves where they're soft and they're pliable, as well as leaving your ankles flexible, is that you reduce the torque in your knees. So many a times you'll have knee pain after playing golf or walking or whatever the case may be, and that torque can be coming from the calf muscles that are very tight. Remember, in that lower leg, you have 2 bones with muscles in between, so all of those muscles have to be soft. It has to be soft enough that when you walk, your calves basically jiggle slightly, and when you touch your calves, no matter how hard you push on it, there should be no pain. Secondly, when your calves are soft like that, now what happens is that the blood can flow better through the lower leg, the lymphatic system can work better, taking toxins back up to the lymph nodes into the groin area of your body, and you can start to move the way you're supposed to. And lastly, your feet can be more healthy. I'm going to talk about how to do a better foot massage. In fact, I have a whole video on the best foot massage out there. You're welcome to go check that out, but we're going to touch on that again today too. But you see, your feet have 29 muscles with 33 joints in each foot. If your calves are tight and your calves have no give in it, your feet have no give in it, and your risk of falling becomes very high. So when you walk on ground that's not level, the calf has to be able to adjust the foot from one side to the other to make sure you don't fall down on an uneven surface. And then lastly, as you soften the feet and get the calves moving so the ankles bend more, what you're going to find is that no matter your age, you can walk on any surface you want barefoot and not have any pain. Hey, I'm 64 years old and I do it all the time with 0 foot pain. So today, let's get right into it and let's figure out how to do this thing. So like I said, Most people, when they do a calf stretch, they lean against the wall, they drop their heel off of a step, or they may go somewhere where they can stand on a slant board. And like I said earlier, that's an Achilles tendon stretch. What you really want to do here is get a strap, like this is a yoga strap, it's about 8 feet long, but you could get an 8-foot long piece of rope as well. What you don't want is a stretchy band. Anybody who shows you a stretchy band for stretching, put the band down and run out the door, because that is not stretching. That is strength training. And so let's get into this. So when you're doing your calf, and I'm going to do it here on the table so you can see what I'm doing. Typically when I do it on my own, I'm sitting on the floor with my hips and back against the wall. And the reason for that is that I want my body to be 90 degrees to my leg here. I don't want to pull back this way, and I don't want to lean forward this way, because if I lean forward to grab my toes this way, I'm pulling from my abdominal muscles and I'm pulling from my hip flexors, which is going to show up as a low back pain back here too. Oh, and a side note, I see this all the time. People will come in and they'll talk about how they have low back pain, and they'll show me how they can keep their legs straight, bend down, and put their palms on the floor. And they don't understand how can they still have low back pain because they're stretching out their back. The thing is, I always laugh and say to them, it's not your back, it's the front, it's the hip flexors, it's the quads on the front. Yes, you can bend forward and they're in a very loose state, or they're very crunched together in a shortened state. But the problem is when you stand up and you try to pull them back out, they become so tight that it creates pain in the lower back because it tilts the pelvis. If you're trying to stretch your hamstrings and your quads all at the same time by reaching down and grabbing your toes here, what you're doing is that you're using your abdominal muscles and your hip flexors on the front of your hips to reach down and grab your toes. That's going to leave you with back pain. So I wouldn't do that, okay? Just a side note. Anyway, so let's get back to this. So you got your strap. You're going to sit on the floor. Now, if you can't get on the floor, you can sit in a hard back chair like a dining room chair. Put your leg up on, or your foot up on an ottoman. Take your strap and put it right around the ball of your foot here. Now, there's a few don't do's here, okay? I get people who will come in and they'll tell me how their calf stretches wasn't really working for them during the last week when they were practicing them, and I'll have them to show me. And usually the first thing they do, they'll pull so hard that their foot comes up off the table. And I'll always laugh and I'll say, when you're pulling this hard, you're doing a bicep curl. So your biceps are going to look great, but your calves are not going to stretch out. So leave that heel on the floor or the ottoman, whichever you choose to do here. Secondly, you don't have to wrap this way like you're trying to pull your foot off. We're not going to put that much pressure, so I want you to leave your foot on the end of your leg, okay? So what I want you to do is grab the straps together here and have it in your hand, and you can even go as close to your foot as you can get, and it doesn't matter if you come all the way down here, but the point is I don't want you to strain to get here. I want you to be comfortable wherever you are, so that whenever you pull your foot back, you can feel the stretch up into here, okay? So when you pull the foot back, you're going to first begin by inhaling through your nose, and as you pull the foot back, breathe out through your mouth. You're going to hold it for 5 seconds. Here's a little caveat here, because people think that if they get here and they can start to feel the stretch, if I really pull it hard, I'm going to make it happen even faster. That is not true. You're going to wind up hurting your arm or your shoulder. When you pull the foot back, when you start to feel the tension, stop and let your brain sit with it for that 5 seconds and feel that. And then release it. But what happens is that the brain then sees that that is a safe movement. So when you come back, that's no longer a problem, okay? And so you want to repeat this up to 10 times. I would do between 8 and 10 on each of these, okay? That's the first part of this. There's 3 parts of this thing. So that gets to 2 calf muscles in the middle, up behind the knee here. If I rotate my foot over, I'm going to feel it more to the outside of my leg back here. So now as I pull my foot back, you see I'm still pulling straight. I just rotated my whole leg over and I'm pulling my foot back. I'm going to feel it over here as I'm doing that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to inhale through my nose, breathe out as I pull my foot back this way, and sit there for that 5 seconds, feel it just at the first start of tension, and release it. Now that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but as you do that and the brain sees you're not going to hurt yourself, now all of a sudden the brain releases the muscles and allow it to move even better. The third part of this, rotate the leg outward and then come back, do the same thing again. Now you're going to feel it more to the inside. Keep in mind that not all of these muscles may be tight at the same time. You may do one, like for me, my inside calf, I don't feel hardly anything at all. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. But when I do my outside calf, I can feel it more. You may be just the opposite, or it may be that when you go in the middle, it's going to feel it more. But do all three ways regardless, so that you can keep your calves loose, keep your body able to rotate, and keep yourself able to move the way you're supposed to. Because you see, when you're walking, you want your ankles to be able to bend so that, like I said in the last couple of videos, you step down, push off with your back foot, and catch yourself with the front foot. If your ankles can't bend more than 90 degrees, you can't do that. And so then that causes you to walk from your upper thighs, which will lead to back pain, neck pain, and so forth. And like I said at the beginning, tight calves can actually contribute to neck and shoulder pain up here from the way you walk. So that's why we want to do this when you're doing it. And so next thing we're going to get into is about the foot massage. Okay, so now as we start with the foot massage, we've got a muscle that runs from the knuckles of the toes back to the heel here. That muscle should be as soft as the palm of your hand. So what you want to do is take your thumb, feel the palm of your hand. That's what the arch of your foot should feel like. Now for some of you, if you have flat feet, this is going to seem really, really soft. And the reason it is that the muscle tone in this muscle, which is called the plantar fascia, I know you've heard of plantar fasciitis, but this is called the plantar fascia, can be soft and under muscled, for lack of a better term. I want to get your calves moving so that you can start to build this muscle up and make it stronger. And I'll have another video I'll put out on how to just strengthen your feet here using something as simple as a hand towel. But anyway, so what we want to do here is take the pads of your thumb, not the point of your thumb, but the pads of your thumb, and get in here and just press. And again, inhale through your nose. When you find a sore spot, press. When you get to that sore spot, hold on to it, maintain it. Don't increase the pressure thinking you're going to push it out, but breathe out and allow the muscle to relax. Move to the next spot after the pain stops. Do the same thing again. And you're going to look all over the foot here, trying to find the different spots here that are tight. And you want to work through so that no matter how hard you press, you'll get to a point that nothing here hurts. You see, a lot of times when you're wearing arch supports and things that support the arch of the foot, it may stop your pain in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to cause this to atrophy, and you'll get to the point that walking barefoot becomes really difficult, okay? So that's the bottom side. On the top side of the foot here, you can feel the bones in between your toes here. And so what you want is to start at the toe, move up towards the ankle, and just gently press as you come up, breathing out to let these muscles relax here. Because what we want is that we want the toes to be able to spread. And if the toes can spread, that's going to improve your balance. So two things here. If the foot is soft so that the foot can spread when you step down, and the calves are soft so that the ankle can bend in all different directions the way it's supposed to, your balance is going to be much better. And I don't care if you're 90 years old. The truth of the matter is that your balance is really in this part of your body. And if you can keep this soft, keep it flexible, keep the foot soft, keep it flexible, your balance is going to be far better than it's been in a long time. And you'll learn that the shoes that you've been told that you need to wear in most cases are not necessary. So that's the thing. So let's first start with the calves, get your feet softened up. And I've got other videos on shoes that later you can go back to, but we want to get you to the point that you can walk barefoot with no shoes. And that's really where we want to be here with that. So I would do this. In fact, anytime I'm sitting on a daily basis, I'll slide my shoe off and I'll work in between my toes here, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how much I'm on my feet. And the same thing with underneath on the bottom to soften it up. And I'll even work up on my calves here as I'm working in this way to make that happen. I want to soften even the shins down here on the front side. All of this needs to be soft. And as you work that each day, you can find that to happen. So I'm hoping that this is helpful for you. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them down below. You've got the stretches here in this video as well. And for now, see ya. I hope you enjoyed this last video. Be sure to click on the video here to my left and enjoy.